Hey, welcome back to No Hype Beer Reviews. Unless it's your first time, then welcome. Please consider subscribing. If you do, hit the notification bell, get all the updates. Super excited for today's video. It's Saturday. On Saturdays, I do Cellar Saturday, where I drink something off the shelves behind me. I've had this beer in my possession for a long time. It is 2015 from the North Brewery in Endicott, New York, my hometown. And this is a really cool beer. As you can see, I opened it off camera because I didn't know if it was going to explode. It did not. It's called the Dirty Dozen. And if memory serves, it has at least a dozen different kinds of yeast in it. This was closer to when they opened, and they had bought it after a bakery had been in there. So in theory, there could have been like other yeasts in the air or whatever, I guess. If I'm remembering to 8 years ago, I think we discussed that. So it's called Dirty Dozen because there's a good dozen different cultures in this beer. It's a wild ale aged in oak barrels. It was from August specifically. Apparently I should have waited till next month. 6.4% ABV. No one told me I should age this beer this long. This is 100% on me. Great label artwork. I love that. There is like a layer of sediment at the bottom. Looks almost like sand or something. Like it's pretty gnarly. But yeah, I really like this one. I had it. I bought at least two at the time. Had one fresh, many fresh, and wax sealed it myself and aged it. Proper glassware, so it's going to taste better. All right, so it is kind of like a yellow, it almost looks like a lager. I mean, completely see-through, not a lot of head. There is some carbonation coming up. The little bit of head that's there is off-white, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely not that, intense. Couldn't think of words. Let's go and see aroma. All right, because like this is, I figure this is going to be more experiment than review, but it didn't gush over. And that actually smells really nice. You get the oakiness, you get the little bit of tannins, you get wild, not sour. Like those are two different things. And like this is a really good example of wild. It's not horse blanket level, but you can see why that could be a descriptor for beers like this. It's a little softer and more rounded than that, probably from the aging. Although anyway, this 8 years ago, like I'm going to remember much about that experience. It's buttery, but not from diacetyl, or however you pronounce it, but it's that oak butteriness, which is really nice. A little bit of vanilla. Actually, yeah, I get the oak aging quite a bit. It is, I mean this in a good way, it just smells like a wild ale, Like there's a little zest of lemon in there, but nothing really too fruity or anything else. Let's see about the taste. Cheers. All right, this is going to be more review than science experiment. This actually still drinks pretty darn well. It's a little light when it first hits your palate. Then the interesting and like, I don't want to say surprisingly tasty, but then the surprisingly tasty notes kick in as well. You get a little bit of dryness, which is nice. For me, it's 6.5%. Just a little bit of alcohol, which actually works well towards the finish, but it works well. Just having a different element of drying quality. Like the aroma, I get actually the oak barrel pretty good in this still. This is like a really nice, almost textbook example of wild ale versus some sort of a sour ale. And, there can be overlap, but they are two different things. And man, I'm not saying this is better than it was fresh or fresher, but like I really thought this was going to go sideways this long, this much stuff going on. The longer something sits that has more stuff going on, the more likely it is to go sideways, and I'm really surprised this is not. Just like your aroma, you get a little bit of lemon zest. I get more floral in the taste than I got in the aroma. Some apple, which I didn't pick up in the taste, but it has some orchard fruits, notes. More apple than pear. This would be a good one for people who like relatively dry white wine, but they don't like beer. I think there's some overlap there, not just the barrel aging, with how you probably know that some wines are aged in oak barrels, so I won't mansplain that to anyone watching. And again, even though I've had several sips, it's interesting because it's super light body and flavor initially, and not that the body gets any bigger, but the flavor surely comes, which is cool. With that lemon zest, also quick zest of orange. The vanilla comes through. It's not sweet or decadent enough to be like orange creamsicle, but you do get those two things, which is kind of cool and familiar, but it doesn't hit the dessert kind of way at all. And then yeah, it's a nice dry beer. This is really good. I again, everything about this made me think this will be an experiment, not a beer review. This is aged beautifully. This is a lot of fun to drink, but it's also like just really tasty. Have you guys had this one before? Have you had a beer like this before? Are you drinking something aged yourself? Are you drinking something completely unrelated you want to tell me about? Anything, everything, comment section below. Let's get a conversation going. Once you're done doing that, make sure you check me out on Instagram and Untapped. It's No Hype Beer Reviews at both those places. So please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, imbibe. Cheers, everyone.